All right. In this video, they're gonna try to answer one of the very common questions that we have in the extrusion process, which is where do we inject water? Because we have pretty much two places where we can inject water. First place is, of course, the conditioner, right? So remember, water first, then steam, because water will hydrate the mash that is coming from the live bean, that is coming from the grinding mix and stuff, and we need this hydration. We need to hydrate, and after that inject steam. Okay. But the other place is, of course, the extruder. So what is the pros and cons of adding water in each of those places? Because there are factories that add no water in the conditioner and no water at all in the extruder, and there are factories that add water in the conditioner and water in the extruder, right? So at the end of the day, what does it matter? What it matters is we are adding water. This water is absorbed in the mash. This water is mixed into the mash, and then this water will help to make the mash fluid, to make your dough fluid, because when this dough passes through the die, it expands. Okay, but if we add water in the conditioner, we have a lot of time for this water to be absorbed by the mash, and we need time for this water to travel into the core of your mash. And we have the pedals in your mixer that in the conditioner that will mix the water with the mash. Okay. So all right, so the conditioner looks great because you have time that you need. You inject water at the very beginning of your process. In the why do we need to inject water in the extruder? And the reason is time, because in the conditioner you have maybe 2 minutes of rotation time, 3 minutes of rotation times, which means that once you inject water in the conditioner, it will take 3 minutes from the moment that you have injected water up to the moment that this mash that has water leaves the extruder, right? So imagine that you are adjusting your extruder, and then you have you see that you need to inject 1 or 2% more water. Okay. If you're just injecting this 2% more in the conditioner, what happens is that this mash that has more water now, it will take 2 minutes to pass through the extruder, which means that you have 2 minutes of product that you're producing with the wrong amount of water. And that's the idea behind it. Most of the water that we are injecting should be injected in the conditioner, right? And then 1 to 3% of water is in the extruder, because most of the water will have enough time to hydrate the mash to be properly mixed. Okay. But then to fine tune, to make small adjustments, to make small but fast adjustments, you go to the extruder. So if you're injecting 25% of water in your extrusion process, 22, 23 should be in the conditioner, because this 22, 23% have enough time to be properly mixed, to go and be absorbed by the mash. But then 1 and 2%, which is fine tuning, goes to the extruder, because from the moment that you inject water in the extruder, it will take 20 seconds for this mash with more water to leave the extruder. So in the extruder is very fast. You change just a small amount of water in the extruder. 20 seconds later, you see the result. You don't need to wait for 3 minutes. That will happen if you only add water in the conditioner. That's the reason why we find this balance. Most of the water in the conditioner, small amount of water in the extruder, just to fine tune. Okay? Hope this information is good for you. If you like, subscribe to this channel. It would be great to continue talk to you. Give like this video, share if you want. There is a link in the description where I have a complete course. All right, and see you in the next one.